Hey, how's everybody doing? My name is Alan. Welcome to my channel, 5 Minutes of Recovery. Quick disclaimer, I don't represent any specific 12-step fellowship. I'm not a professional speaker. I'm only here sharing my experience, strength, and hope with the hopes that maybe somebody that's suffering with the disease of alcoholism or drug addiction, has a drug and alcohol problem, sees one of my videos and seeks help. Because there's hope. If a guy like me could get and stay sober, there's no reason why anybody that's watching this video can't do the same. So today what I want to talk about is the big G-O-D word. We're going to talk about God. Don't leave the channel. Hang out. I got some good stuff for you. So what I want to talk about is a God of our understanding, my understanding. And you get to pick your own personal God. And God could be good, orderly direction. It could be going to a meeting and the group of people that are staying sober together is bigger than you are. And so like that could be, we're talking about a higher power. We're just talking about something that's bigger than you that will help you stay sober on a daily basis, right? Because I know for me that I can't stay sober by myself and that my best thinking gets me in trouble every single time. So it talks about in the literature, in the book, about getting a God and getting a God of your understanding and that God removing the problem. And so like that's been my experience of exactly what happens. And it took me a really long time to understand that. And when I first started coming around, people started talking about God and I was like, yo, I don't want nothing to do with that. Like you don't have to believe in God. That's not a requirement to go to a meeting and to get sober, right? So you guys need to know that right now. But if you want to stay sober, that's going to be a requirement in the future. But it's not as hard as you think, right? So I got some suggestions in the beginning that people told me, like I got this guy, I'm going to call him my mentor, and he sat me down one day and he was like, do you believe that I believe in God? And I was like, absolutely, I did, because I could see it right in his face, right? He was shining, he was glowing, like he was believing in something, and he was sober for like 4 years at the time, and I was sober for a few days, so like something had to be working in his life, and that's what kind of attracted me to asking him to help me to begin with, and so I could believe. And he was like, well, you could use mine for now. And then I heard some other good stuff. I heard how about get out a piece of paper, and if you could choose anything, God of your understanding, whatever that would be, write it down. What would it be like? And you could start with that. And so I gotta tell you, right, like the God of my understanding is mine and it's personal to me. It has nothing to do with religion. We're talking about a spiritual program, right? And spirituality and religion are two different things. Like my personal beliefs and I don't even really, to be honest with you, like I don't have any specific religion. I don't believe it. I've studied a whole bunch of different ones, and what I found is that a lot of all religions are the same. Right? They teach the same thing. So that just tells me that there's more than one path to the same source, right? I mean, that's just for me personally, but in order to maintain sobriety on a daily basis, you're gonna have to connect with something else, right? And so like this is the kicker, right? Like you do that, and like my experience, and I got through the process of the 12 steps, and I continue to seek that connection with the God of my understanding, right? Because I learned some structure and some discipline, which I'm going to talk about in the future also, right? Because they're really important. I didn't know how to structure or discipline my life, and I continue to seek that connection with the God of my understanding. What happened is it made me start studying other things, right? And so from the 12 steps and practicing the 12 steps in my life on a daily basis, I'm able to continue to seek it, to continue to study new things, because I always want to learn, right? Remember we talked in the beginning about willingness, open-mindedness, and honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. Forgive me, like I'm still new to this, I'm still getting the hang of it, but I hope that everybody is enjoying it. If you are, always smash the like, join the channel, subscribe, put a comment down there. Let me know that I'm doing something that's maybe helping somebody. That would be a big help. We want to get this out to as many people as possible. So as I was saying, right, so the seeking led me to start seeking other things. And like one of the venues of me seeking is through YouTube, and from one thing led to another, and I'm an avid reader. I love to read, and I came across like the Law of Attraction books, and that stuff started making sense to me, and I seen how I could connect like the God of my understanding to the Law of Attraction, and how all of that could work in my life. And as a result of like just practicing this stuff on a regular basis and trying to be useful to other people, like my life just started, like I started believing in myself. How about that? Like I started believing in myself. Like a junkie that used to live in abandoned houses, right, and used to rob people, started believing in myself. I started having some self-worth and some self-esteem. If you want self-esteem, all you got to do is esteemable things. Someone told me that a long time ago. And you know, as a result of doing all of this stuff, my life changed. And so like that's the hope. Like my life changed. Like I was a junkie that spent like 20 years in prison, in and out of jails, and like I haven't been back to jail since I've been sober, right? Like I haven't done anything illegal since I've been sober. Like that's amazing, right? Like, and to a normal person that just maybe has a problem with drugs and alcohol and can't identify with that, identify with the feelings, right? Like I was hopeless. I felt hopeless. I felt like there was no way out. And like this process had led me, and the connection to the God of my understanding has led me to a way out and a better way of living. And if you want that, right, it's accessible to you. It's not hard. Like it's not hard. It's not complicated. Like I make everything complicated, and it's really not. I like to think that I'm a pretty intelligent guy, and yet it took me a lot of years to understand and accept and surrender. And so like that's what the future is going to be about. Like that's what these videos are going to be about. I'm going to talk about surrender. I'm going to talk about the connections and the law of attraction. And like if you want to be down and you want to get better, right? And if you're struggling and you're hopeless, like seek help. You could always reach out to me. I'm on Facebook. I'm everywhere, right? Like I'm gonna start leaving links in the description so that way people can start to reach out. If you want to reach out, like just put a comment in. I'll look at the comments. Anyway, I'm getting way ahead of myself. I just hope that everybody has a great day, great night, wherever you're at, wherever you're watching this, right? And like let's just keep it up. Let's just keep the groove, and just know that you can stay sober a day at a time. Even if it's an hour at a time. If you're struggling and you need help, reach out and ask somebody for help. There's a lot more help out there than we realize. And that's the reason for this video. So thanks, have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.